Hello and welcome to JR, a podcast about my arcade machine and the games I'm building for it. It's been about a week and a half since my last video, so I thought I'd jump on tonight and record a real quick one and show you what I've been up to. I think if we trace back, we'll see that I was going to add the credits to the game engine, and also I was going to work on the animated graphics component. Let's look firstly at the credits because they were pretty simple. We have the game over input handler and the select input handler. This is where the user starts the game. What I had to do here was put a little a wall in to stop them from starting the game unless they had credits in the machine. To do that, I had to first determine how they would get credits in. Now, on the traditional arcade simulators, but like MAME and those sorts of things, when you press the number 5 or the number 6 on the keyboard, that simulates a coin getting dropped. So I've copied that exactly here. If keyboard is pressed, keyboard number 5, play insert coin, which is a sound, and then increase the credits in the world state by 1. The world state file is basically, think of it as a little bit of memory for your game. It holds the, the wave number you're at, how many credits you've got, how many lives you've got. So once that was sorted there, I had to wrap the start of the game up in an if statement to make sure that the game would only start if the player had credits. If they don't have credits, it will just play a sound here, player explode, and we'll see that in a second. I had to duplicate that into the game over input handler, and this one here, when the game was over, I just had to check that the lives did in fact equal 0, and then if they had credits, we can let them run through and start a new game, or else we let them add credits or play the player explode again. So that was all pretty simple. In the sound engine, I had to drop in a new sound file, which is the insert coin.wave. That's the only edits that were needed in the game engine there. Let's shut those down. That's all done and dusted there. And look at how we animated the graphics component. This one was a little tricky. It wasn't hard, but it was challenging. I started off by duplicating the standard graphics component, which just loads a dumb bit of graphics. It puts it in there, it attaches it to a game object, and it moves across the screen. Pretty simple stuff. It doesn't animate it though, so I duplicated that, and then that I had to load in a couple of graphics for the animation. You know, you've got one with the Space Invader like this and one with him like this. This is not a great way to do it if you've got more than 2 graphics, more than 2 sprite maps for an object. You won't be able to use this. It's limited to only loading 2. That's only because I wanted to get this working. It was so challenging, I really just wanted a bare minimum working module here. So once that was done, I then had to come down here to where they're drawn on the screen and swap the drawings over I wanted them to swap every 2 seconds. Again, this should all be done with variables, so it could be done, you could swap them every 2 seconds or every 10 seconds. I just really wanted to get this working, okay? I had so many problems with this. At one point I had only the last drawn object would animate, and then I had them all animating, and they're animating really, really fast. And now I have the problem where I can't slow them down. They're supposed to animate once every 2 seconds, which would be about 60 frames, I think, but I've got in here, it's counting up to 19,000 before it swaps the animation over. And there's definitely a bug there, which I've got to reach out to some people to try and get some help solving this. It's probably a very easy or subtle bug, but it's just escaping me for now. But anyway, once we get up to 19,000, we just swap the graphics around, swap from graphics 1 to graphics 2. All of this needs to be done. This is some of my debugging here. I put the text on the screen, and that made worse problems. yeah, all of this needs to be redone because it's not very dynamic. You can't change how many images each object is going to have or how fast you want to animate them, and that's really poor for an animation component. And also, when I go to create a new game with this, which I want to start doing soon, when I make Joust, that's going to be even harder than it should be with this animation component. The Joust, little guy in Joust, he flaps his wings and he runs, and so there's going to be more than just 2 animations involved in that one character alone. So I'll have to work out how I'm going to tackle that. That's next week's problem though. Let's have a look quickly at the level 1 file. Remember, we went through here, we used to have 50 odd objects to load in here. It was a massive long file, and now we've only got 1 row or 1 object for every row of invaders. That made it really, really easy then when we changed them from a standard graphic to an animated graphic. So we just changed 1 word, and then we're updating a full row of 11 invaders, and that was really handy. I'm really glad that we did that. Let's rock on now and have a game, because I'm getting tired. You can hear it in my voice. So when we don't have any graphics, all we're going to get is that explosion. Let me turn this down a little to try and reduce a bit of feedback for you there. But when we drop a coin in, hitting number 5, I need to make these coins. Hey, look at that. Now we're in business. Now we've got a game and we're animating, and it's looking pretty cool. The colors are set, they're hard coded. So again, that's something I need to add to the blueprint loader so that each object can have its own color if needed. And from here, I need to make some more invader files. Let's chill out here. Game over. You can see down the bottom I've got 4 credits, so it will let me play again straight away. A few things that I need to do from this, other than have a closer look at the animation module, is put some feedback on the main screen there. You can see that as I add credits, you can hear I've got credits, but you can't see anywhere where the credits are, so that's pretty silly. And I think, yeah, that I'm just going to go for a bunch of little wins this week. I'm going to put something on the main screen showing you how many credits you've got. I'm going to add some colors to the Space Invaders, and I'm going to add a couple more invaders. I have to draw them myself. I can't find anything online that I can use. So that's that. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and tell your friends. I think I've got 3 subscribers. I'm really chasing number 4 so I can cash in my millions and retire. Thanks again. Happy gaming.